Hi, I'm Anika Viraragov,
And I'm Ember Strickland.
and we are the co-chairs of the Masuk Representative Assembly.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. My name is Donna Lane, and I'm the chairman of the Monroe Board of Education. On behalf of the board, I welcome you to the 2018 Masuk High School graduation ceremony. This evening, I'm not here only representing the board, but along with my fellow board member, Dr. Alan Vagliavello, we are both proud parents of graduating seniors. Lately, I've been reflecting on time and how quickly it flies by. I remember when my daughter Emily started at Monroe Elementary School and the friends she met in kindergarten, most of whom are here this evening, and those friendships still remain strong. I thought high school graduation was so far in the future when starting kindergarten. In a flash, she was in middle school, which brought a whole new group of friends as all three schools were now merged into 2 campuses. When she was starting high school, parents said to me, "The 4 years will fly by," and wow, were they correct, because here I find myself today at her high school graduation. It was such a pleasure watching many of the graduates sitting before me grow over the past 13 years. The friends we have met along the way have been a blessing. I'm sure most, if not all of you parents will agree that this time went by much too quickly, and we wish we could freeze time to keep our child with us just a little longer. But time stands still for no one. Remember, throughout history, time is undefeated. All you can do is make the most of it and cherish it every day. As parents, we can only hope that we've prepared our children well to face their future beyond high school. Graduates, I hope that we've provided you with the tools as you enter your new leg of your life journey. Remember what you've learned in kindergarten: honesty, kindness, and hard work. It wasn't easy coloring within the lines. Hard work will serve you well in the future, no matter where your journey takes you. However, it's pretty cool to color outside the lines sometimes. As a mom, let me be the first to remind you to call your parents. They would love to hear from you, and not just when you need money. On behalf of the Monroe Board of Education, we congratulate you on all your achievements at Monroe Public Schools, and wish you well as you begin the next chapter of your journey. Congratulations.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We, Nisha Hanaya, Kate Lee, Wenjay Lim, Brianna Malloy, Will Santee, and Chloe Shawa are the valedictorians of the class of 2018. Fitting 6 people up here was definitely a challenge, but we are so grateful for the opportunity. And we also wanted to recognize Masuk's 3 salutatorians, Kate Infante, Kyle Immel, and Alex Massaro. Our class is undoubtedly unprecedented. We share a lot, including a unique, hardworking, and collaborative spirit, and will forever share the memories of our experiences here at Masuk. Through extensive research, living case studies, and even a trip to Bill's, we've determined that all 302 of us also shared a terrible case of senioritis. Senioritis is probably the last thing you would expect a group of valedictorians to be speaking about, but we can assure you that this contagious disease gets a hold of nearly every student, regardless of the color of their tassel. Although we're not nearly as glamorous as the doctors of Grey's Anatomy, we've assembled as Masuk's very own self-proclaimed medical team to describe the symptoms, treatment, and cure for senioritis. Over the course of this year, you've likely noticed the symptoms, and today we offer you our prognosis.
Symptom number 1, lethargy. Now, this is probably the most well-known symptom of senioritis. We've all seen the seniors lazing around with the complete lack of motivation to do anything that requires any amount of thinking, sleeping in class, and letting all that procrastination that they've pushed down since freshman year come out all at once. Even I feel sorry for the teachers desperately trying to keep seniors from ignoring them in class, and even trying to get them to show up to class. I mean, I'm as guilty as everybody else. Shout out to Mrs. O'Rourke and Mrs. Flam. I'm sorry for nodding off in your classes more times than I would like to admit. I promise it isn't your teaching. Senioritis just hits like a brick. As far as procrastination goes, I started writing this speech 4 periods before it's due, so I think that says enough. However, I don't think that this is necessarily a bad thing. We've all worked so hard for 12 years of our life, working towards the day when we get accepted into college and when we start professional lives. Now that we have, I think we deserve a little rest, and naturally this comes as a relief for us. But at the same time, many of us have lost our direction. I know that for me at least, after I turned in all of my college applications and finished my capstone, I felt like an ostrich that just pulled my head out the ground. I just looked around and I was lost. And naturally, when you don't know what to do, you binge watch 6 shows at once. But eventually, we have to come out of this rut and find some new motivation. And this time, I hope that you can all think bigger and find goals way greater than just figuring out where to go to school for the next few years. Maybe that means being the world's biggest business mogul, curing cancer, or making a family and raising the next generation. Whatever it is, I hope that it brings you enough motivation to carry you through the transition between high school and college, and as well as through the rest of your lives. Thank you.
Symptom number 2, alienation. During the final weeks of high school, seniors may feel like they no longer belong in their small town, but also are not yet a part of their future community. During times of transition, we often find ourselves in limbo, floating in a relational no man's land, where we are simply left with ourselves, who we have been, and who we wish to become. As you take your final steps out of today and first steps towards tomorrow, I urge you to never walk alone. Humans are social creatures who not only demand shelter, but also a home where they can be vulnerable and thus leave stronger. While we each require different amounts of social connection, we all require a foundation where we know we will be fully accepted, supported, and loved. Whatever home means to you, find it. And once you have it, never let it go. Perhaps home is your family. Perhaps it is a group of friends that supported you from pacifiers to prom. Perhaps home is your unconditionally loving pets. Perhaps home is not yet yours, but is waiting for you just around the corner of your life's road. Wherever it is, let it welcome you, love you, and leave unerasable fingerprints on your heart. As you venture into the faraway lands of tomorrow, remember that you can have several homes. Perhaps you will find home in a group of college friends or work colleagues, but always remember where you have come from. Call your parents. Forever continue to annoy your siblings. Work hard to maintain the friendships that fill your heart with love and laughter. I myself am a bit of an expert in transition. 4 years ago, I was a terrified little homeschooled Martian taking my very first steps into public school here at Masuk. I would not be where I am today without the home and amazing father or homeschool principal and mother or homeschool teacher of 9 years that brought me through those doors and the homes that I found inside, the Nook in the E-Hall, the Taylor Swift fanatics in biology class, and basically the entire science department. Thank you, Masuk High, for teaching me how to open a locker and for opening my mind and heart.
Symptom number 3, seeing stars. During senior year at Masuk, a serious symptom of senioritis was seeing stars, or in my case, seeing sparkles. At prom this year, you all voted me prom queen alongside your prom king, Alex Massaro.
I got a shiny tiara, which I wore when I wrote this speech. I wanted to share this anecdote with you because it represents quite a bit more than just one night at the Oakdale and a shiny crown. It represents how my entire senior year looked different than my first 3 years at Masuk because I took myself less and less seriously and took more opportunities that pushed me out of my comfort zone. There is something to be said about the power of intentionally putting yourself in an uncomfortable position. When you try something a little scary, something you've never done before, your heart beats hard, your fingertips tingle, your breathing becomes a little faster, and some stars might flicker in and out of your vision. To be uncertain of an outcome is nerve-wracking, but it's also completely liberating. Senior year, we had so many opportunities to do things that would normally scare us. In the classroom, in sports, in showcases, and in talent shows. And when we push ourselves, it forces us to grow. We learn things about ourselves that surprise us, and we realize strengths and talents that we didn't know were there before. I didn't trip when our favorite prom DJ, Mr. Castillo, called my name to get my tiara, but even if I did, it would still be a fond memory. My handsome prom king and I didn't really know how to dance together, so we laughed and posed for pictures instead. I tell you this today, Masuk, because during the next 4 years and every year after, we will need to do things that make our breath come short and our hands go tingly. We will need to grow and expand our horizons. Study some peripheral interest of yours that you haven't looked into yet. Sit with someone new in the dining hall next year. Introduce yourself first. Class of 2018, thank you for giving me a crown to cap off my senior year fairy tale. I hope you try new things. I hope you challenge yourself. And just like the song, I hope you dance. This way, I promise you, your successes will be as numerous as the stars.
Symptom number 4, insomnia. 'Twas the night before the English paper was due, when all through the town not a creature was stirring, except for, of course, scrambling seniors typing away frantically. Insomnia is a noun describing the most pervasive symptom of senioritis, persistent problems in falling or staying asleep. This silent but stealthy symptom gets a hold of the best of us. As Monroe slumbers before a new dawn, houses scattered near and far remain aglow from the faint light of computer screens and desk lights. Trust me, been there, done that. Insomnia is but one of the many hurdles we've encountered as students. High school, and senior year especially, has marked the culmination of our trials and tribulations and our efforts in education in Monroe. It has marked the time where we've stretched ourselves to our limit and beyond. We've all admittedly stayed up till 2, rushing and regretting our inevitable procrastination. We've all spent restless nights, staring at popcorn ceilings and worrying about the uncertain future ahead. The extra efforts from something as simple as sleeping a little later pay homage to our dedication in accomplishing our goals. From pulling an all-nighter for my King Lear paper, to spending extra time practicing for a 3-hour dance performance, which seemed impossible to me, to staying up late and finding my nerdy passion for finance and trading, I know that each minute spent awake was entirely worth it. Former President of India, Abdul Kalam, once said, "A dream is not that which you see while sleeping. It is something that does not let you sleep." Dreams evolve and grow over time, and it's important to remember what we're working towards, even when the odds, including restless nights, are stacked against us. So as we write our own sequel, called Sleepless in Monroe, I hope that the side effects of this symptom don't wear off too easily. I hope that each of you finds something that keeps you up at night, that makes the long hours worth spending. And I also hope that you take the opportunity to look back and thank those who helped you in realizing your dreams, whether it's your kind guidance counselor, the best accounting teacher, your supportive parents, family, or friends. Let the burning midnight oil burn a little longer, and let it fuel your wildest dreams. Because I believe that sometimes it's in the smallest of hours that we're able to find the greatest of inspiration. Best of luck to all, and to all a good night.
Symptom management. Fortunately, there is treatment for the senioritis virus. Unfortunately, it can be very expensive and has many side effects. One way to deal with the exhaustion and lack of satisfaction that goes along with senior year is with Monroe's assortment of food as a reward for major accomplishments like making it through a whole day without falling asleep or doing your calculus homework for the first time this quarter. However, dropping $20 on Mac Daddies and going to Bill's every other day might burn a hole in your wallet, and you'll probably put on the freshman 15 before you even get to college. The best way to treat a senior's sleep schedule, or the complete lack thereof, is with caffeine, my favorite form of which is coffee. While downing a cup of joe on the way to school every morning just to get through second period, will certainly improve your one-handed driving. It will also fuel your never-ending and ever-worsening dependence on America's favorite drug, something that many students develop in their last year of high school. As senior year goes on, motivation slowly dwindles away until even a one-sided worksheet seems impossible to hand in on time. As our will to succeed nears zero, procrastination is the only good option. Whether it's waking up at 5 a.m. to study for a physics final you just found out about, or preparing for a vocab quiz solely on the walk from G Hall to B Hall, seniors always find a way to do things at the last possible moment. There are few things more fascinating than our ability to type a 4-page English paper during the period before it's due, and I'm always marveled by an impromptu Spanish presentation. As we spend less and less time worrying about grades, we have more time available to explore what else high school has to offer. Many of us were able to discover new interests, uncover unknown passions, and befriend people with whom we hadn't even spoken before senior year. The best treatment for senioritis isn't coffee, procrastination, or curly fries. It's trying new things and exploring what this school, town, and world has to offer for each and every one of us. Fortunately, this treatment, which we have all undergone, whether we know it or not, has no side effects aside from the possibility of actually enjoying our final year of high school. As we continue to the next chapter of our lives, no matter what that entails, we will all encounter a case of modified senioritis, when all motivation and enjoyment is lost. Thankfully, since we all know what senioritis feels like and how to properly treat it, we can, after a few binge eating episodes and some Red Bull, of course, realize that we have reached the end of a chapter and start finding a new one that excites us and makes us want to stay for more than just 4 years.
And finally, here's the vaccine. While we were planning the topic of this speech, Nisha came up with this idea of the symptoms of senioritis. And it was such an easy topic for everyone to talk and share about. Everyone except for me, that is. Because the truth is, I never really got a bad case of senioritis. I got the vaccine instead. This vaccine is a coveted prize, one craved by procrastinating seniors around the globe. It is the tool that forced me to start my college applications before last summer had even started, and to continue to do my homework every night. And the one that compelled me to come to Masuk at 6:55 every morning for a second period class that didn't start until 8:15. It may be a curse, but more than that, it is a blessing. So what is this elusive senioritis vaccine? By looking at me, a lot of you would probably say that it's simply a lack of change, because it doesn't seem as though I've changed at all during my time at Masuk. After all, I still color coordinate my notebooks and need the same number of pencils on my desk when I take a test. I'm still the same height, and I've eaten peanut butter and crackers every day for lunch for the past 7 years. I get it, but I have changed, even though it may not be as visible as that 4-inch growth spurt I was hoping for. What Masuk has done has been to help me discover and hone in on my passion, even if that passion is, as you may have guessed, learning. It is my own drive and love for learning that gets me out of bed and to school on time in the morning. And I know that there's something in your life that excites you just as much as calculus class excites me. And if anything, it's through change that we're able to find what it is that sparks our interests. So don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to go out there and search for your passion. And that's the senioritis vaccine, for all of you sitting in front of me that have suffered from this plague for months now. Finding what you're passionate about and running with it is the key to jumping out of bed every morning, thrilled to start the day. Whether it be math or traveling, music or sports, do what you love. You'll be happier and more successful, and most importantly, you'll avoid having another terrible case of senioritis. Regardless of our personal pasts that have brought us to this night, we should all be immensely proud of ourselves. From all of us, congratulations to the Masuk class of 2018, and good luck with everything that comes in your future. Thank you all for being such amazing classmates.
drawn this song from us. Songs of lives unfolding fly overhead, cry overhead. Longing rising from the song within. Moving like the rise and fall, the rise and fall, the plans that shape our calling, on the edge of answers. You've heard our cry, you've known our cry. Music's fierce compassion flows from you. The night is restless with the sounds we hear, is broken, shaken by the cries of pain. For this is music's inner voice saying, yes, we hear you. All you who cry aloud, and we will fly, answering you. We will fly, wild in spirit we will fly, like a feather falling from the wing, fragile as a human voice, unafraid, uncertain, alive to love. We sing as love, afraid, uncertain, yet our flight begins. As song.
Nicely done. Your piano, nicely done.
Good evening. I would like to start off by thanking Superintendent Batista, Assistant Superintendent Zamri, Principal Kabza, the Masuk faculty, the Board of Education, the class of 2018, and their families. Thank you all for being present. I'm humbly honored to be able to speak here today in front of all you. As many of you know, about 2 months ago, our beloved substitute teacher, Mr. Art Sheehan, passed away at the age of 87. Given how close I had gotten to Mr. Sheehan during his time at Masuk, I thought it was important to attend his wake. I drove to the Mullins Funeral Home in Trumbull, expecting to find some family members and a few close friends. What I witnessed turning into the parking lot will forever change my perspective on life, and is what brought me to the lesson I'd like to share with you all tonight. Not only was there a line of people pouring out of the home, but the parking lot was filled to capacity. I was confused at how there could be so many people at this understated and humble man's wake. It became quite clear as soon as I entered the home. There, I not only saw loving family members, but also members from every aspect of our community. I saw politicians, firefighters, U.S. service members, Knights of Columbus, priests, parishioners, teachers, and even a few students. As I waited in line, I read newspaper clippings detailing Mr. Sheehan's life, and it became evident to me why he was important in the lives of so many. He had accumulated a vast array of accomplishments. He served in Korea, worked with his son at their own insurance firm, married and raised a beautiful family, mentored underprivileged youth, volunteered with the Knights of Columbus, and substituted here in Masuk High School. Wherever he went, Mr. Sheehan gave back to his community, striving to change people's lives, particularly those of the youth. Now, I understand that at this time, most of us are primarily worried about our futures. Our entire schooling has been focused on preparing us for life after high school. As we make our final preparations to head into the next chapter of our lives, I urge every one of us to consider these questions. How will I be remembered? What mark will I leave on those in my community and those around me? How long will my memory surpass me? I believe that each and every one of us, as much as we should focus on the future, should also focus on leaving a legacy which will not be forgotten for generations to come. It is important to cement our legacy wherever we may go and do as much good as possible. Our legacy will be what we pass down to the next generation. If we strive for a legacy of complacency, it will shrivel up and surely go to the grave with us. But if we strive for a legacy of helpfulness, of greatness, of change, just as Mr. Sheehan did, our memory will not only be held by our families, but by those whose lives we changed forever. As focused as you should be on your future, start creating your own legacy. Volunteer in the community, donate to a charity, fight for a cause. Be a Mr. Sheehan in a world of careless individuals, and take action. Be great, and most importantly, be remembered. Thank you.
Good evening, Masuk. Today is Thursday, June 21st, also graduation day. Graduates, please rise to thank your parents and remain standing for a moment of gratitude. Thank you. For the parents in the crowd who don't quite understand the reference, my name is Chloe Shawa, and as senior class president, I read those morning announcements every day of this year. At this point, I'm pretty sure I recite the Pledge of Allegiance in my sleep. I remember during junior year when we first got to see our transcripts during a seminar with our guidance counselors. For those of you who have never seen a high school transcript, it has a column with the classes you took, a column with the grade you received, and a GPA somewhere at the bottom. That one piece of paper supposedly encompasses your entire high school career. I love math and I love statistics, so I would be one of the first people to tell you that numbers don't lie. The numbers on that transcript didn't lie, but they omitted so much information that they might as well have. The all-important sheet of paper had a few numbers, but it left out all of the important ones. Like the number of times I decided it would be more important to sing along on the track bus than it was to study vocab cards. The number of times I fouled the other team on this very soccer field, quite a few. The number of times we got too dressed up for Spirit Week, the number of songs we danced to at prom, the number of times we cheered on our friends on the track, the field, the pool, the court, or the stage. Those numbers were nowhere to be found. Standing in the hallway, staring at that piece of paper, I thought it was pretty useless. I realized that I would have to start building a new transcript because the one they hand us in guidance does not tell the story of our experience at Masuk. I still believe that numbers don't lie, but oftentimes we focus on the wrong numbers. The value of your high school experience is not determined by a transcript. The quality of your character is not determined by the number of likes on Instagram, and the fulfillment of your career is not determined by how much money you make. So to my peers in the class of 2018, my advice for the next chapter of our lives is to focus on the numbers that matter. The numbers that define our character, define our passion, and define our compassion. When we begin building our college transcript next year as freshmen, keep studying hard, but keep in mind that there are more important numbers to accumulate as you navigate life. The number of strangers you smile at as you go about your day, the number of times you talk to someone sitting alone, and the number of times you call your parents next year. Build a transcript of your life full of meaningful numbers that you can be proud of. Here are some other numbers that deserve to be recognized. About 141 administrators, teachers, custodians, counselors, and more in Masuk High School, all devoting their lives into shaping us into better people. Thank you for engaging us, for challenging us to reach our full potential, and for sharing your passions with us. One fearless leader, Mr. Kabza. The class of 2018 was incredibly lucky to have your leadership for all 4 years. The supportive and spirited climate of Masuk High School is a direct testament to your example. Masuk will miss you greatly. Please feel free to continue calling us on our birthdays. Finally, the 301 other students in Masuk's class of 2018. I'm standing up here talking to you because you all have allowed me to, and I want to express my sincerest thanks. You've given me the inspiration and the confidence to speak in front of you again and again. As you walk back up the hill, you will notice all 302 of our signatures on the back of the white banners. These light pole banners are the class of 2018 senior gift to Masuk High School, to celebrate our accomplishments and adorn the walk down to the field where many of us have spent innumerable hours. The last number I will leave you with is not actually a true number, but a concept. The amount of people you have the power to influence is infinite. Live your life by focusing on the right numbers, and there is no limit to the amount of people you will inspire along your way. Congratulations, class of 2018, and have a great day, Masuk.
Chairman Lane, members of the Board of Education, Mr. Batista, Dr. Zamri, First Selectman Kellogg, State Representative Stradzinski, my fellow Monroe administrators, members of the faculty, parents, guests, and members of the graduating class of 2018, good evening. I'm Joe Kabza, principal of Masuk High School, and it truly is an honor for me to be here to address all of you tonight. Every year as I prepare for graduation, I look for inspiration. This year I went back to my alma mater and got a little help from my good friend, Stepney Principal Mr. Lazar, and his team of third grade teachers. I asked the students there, what advice would you give to a graduating senior? They had some pretty unique and insightful perspectives on life after high school. Some students were very concerned for your financial well-being. Cameron said he would like you all to get a nice job so you can make a lot of money, so you can buy lots of goods. Others focused on driving safety. William encouraged you to keep your eyes on the road, while Kyle suggested you take a slow speed. Brody encouraged philanthropy and suggested that you donate between $5 and $1,000 to those in need. The environmentally conscious Graham says you shouldn't litter because it's bad for the earth and it's bad too. Greta offered professional advice. You should be a teacher because you've looked at one your whole life. And finally, one of my favorites, Ruby, had 2 pieces of advice for you. The first about the supernatural. Believe in dragons, they are real. There are spottings and they have been caught on camera. Her second piece of advice has just as much resonance for your parents as it may have for you. She emphatically recommended, do not have kids. You will have a lot to do for them, like spend money on toys and school bills. The kids had some wonderful pieces of advice, and I enjoyed reading their words of wisdom. However, there were 2 themes that really resonated with me as I always become a little more introspective at this time of the year. Isabella had this to say, love your job. Otherwise, what's the point of doing it? I can relate to that. I feel lucky compared to some of my friends who dread their job and feel stuck in a career that offers little in the way of personal growth. While the jobs of a high school teacher, assistant principal, and principal definitely have their share of trials and tribulations, I have always loved coming to Masuk for the last 19 years, working with a dedicated staff, engaged students, and supportive families. And this isn't just lip service. I know this because this past month I have found myself hanging around after school, walking the building and feeling nostalgic, getting frustrated when my birthday calls went to voicemail, and finding myself at a loss for words as I drafted my final Sunday night phone call. We have 9 retirees with us here tonight. They have loved their jobs as well. You only have to look at the number of lives they have touched for verification. Gail Carter at Fawn Hollow has supported students as here's Gail's family. Gail Carter at Fawn Hollow has supported students as they grow during those early formative years. Belinda Batista and Catherine Johnson of Jockey Hollow have helped students navigate the labyrinth known as middle school. Those three joined 5 Masuk teachers graduating with the class of 2018. Doug Fedorko has made the woodshop a place where kids could explore their passion in the trades. Business teacher Lynn Costello has created the largest chapter of FBLA in the state. Vivian Siegel has transformed countless English students into great writers while developing the award-winning Masuk Free Press into one of the most highly respected student publications in New England. Alice Pulliam has shared her love of the fine arts with students in all grade levels throughout her career. And Mary Lou Matat has helped students navigate the difficult post-high school process while offering support through these tumultuous teenage years. I would like all of these retirees to please stand so we can honor them tonight. There are a couple of graduates here this evening whose love for their country is leading them to the most selfless job in the world, one they must love, the armed services. It has become a tradition over these last 7 years that we celebrate these young men and women at graduation. And I would ask that Zachary Gingras and Ember Strickland, both who will be serving our country after graduation, please stand and be recognized. The second theme that really jumped out at me from the Stepney third graders was advice concerning relationships. Cassidy and Philip best summed up relationships with their advice. Cassidy wants you to make friends with nice people, while Philip encouraged you, much like Katie Lee and Chloe Shawa did earlier, to contact your family as much as you can. Another important member of the Monroe School community taught me about the importance of relationships, and he too is graduating with the class of 2018, and that's our beloved superintendent, Mr. Batista. During his 35 years of dedicated service to the Monroe Public Schools, lost my spot. Mr. Batista has both built and, more importantly, maintained thousands of relationships in the many hats that he has worn: teacher, department chair, principal, assistant superintendent, and superintendent. He has served as a mentor and friend to every administrator on stage this evening. And I know he doesn't want to, but I'm going to ask him to please stand so we can recognize him as well. My good friend, English teacher, and capstone advisor Ken Ryder recently gave me the book Tribe by Sebastian Junger. Junger argues that for thousands of years, humans were completely interdependent on each other for survival. From the earliest hunters and gatherers to those living just before the Industrial Revolution, the community was vital to the survival of each individual. Junger states that modern society, despite its nearly miraculous advances in medicine, science, and technology, is afflicted with some of the highest rates of depression, schizophrenia, poor health, anxiety, and chronic loneliness in human history. We have the ability to be more autonomous than any other point in time, but that autonomy is coming at a price: our happiness. The reason, according to Junger, is that we have lost that sense of belonging and community. We're living at a time of unprecedented division in our country's history. Sometimes when I'm switching the channels between news stations at night, I find it both comical and disheartening to see how far apart we are on certain issues. It's like the two stations are reporting from completely different universes. Regardless of our beliefs, it is up to this generation to begin to bridge the divide that is separating us, rebuilding a tribe of compassion and understanding. As I have watched the class of 2018 grow and develop over the last 4 years, I am hopeful. I've witnessed countless acts of random kindness, selflessness, and inclusion. The tribe that you have formed at Masuk over these 4 years should serve as a template to what we can accomplish in the world at large. I leave you with these final words from one of our third graders, Jake. I assume he's from room 31, and he had some words of reassurance and encouragement for all of you. Jake said, "Room 31 believes in you. You've got this." I'm pretty sure Jake is onto something. Mr. Batista, I attest that these members of the class of 2018 receiving diplomas here tonight have met or exceeded the graduation requirements established by the state of Connecticut and the Monroe Board of Education. It is my pleasure to present them to you this evening.
I'm very pleased to be standing here as superintendent to congratulate this fine class for their hard work and perseverance. This class has done some amazing things. We have students with Perfect 5.0. We have Eagle Scouts, National Merit Award winners, students going to the most prestigious schools in the country, top athletes, and accomplished musicians. We have unified sports volunteers and students who have made it a point to be allies to other students. And we have kind, caring people that walk these halls. This is a class of students who have strived to do well academically, socially, and civically. So with all that in mind, I want to share the philosophy of Charles Schulz with you. That's right, Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts cartoon. His philosophy starts with a quiz. You don't have to actually answer these questions, but I think you'll get the point. Name the 5 wealthiest people in the world. Name the last 5 Heisman Trophy winners or the winners of the Miss America contest. Name 10 people who have won the Nobel Prize or the Pulitzer Prize. Name the last decade worth of World Series winners. How did you do? According to Charles Schulz, it is that none of us remember the headliners of yesterday. These are no second-rate achievers. They are the best in the field. But the applause dies, awards tarnish, achievements are forgotten. Here's another quiz. See how you do with this one. List at least 2 teachers who aided your journey through school. Name 3 friends who have helped you through a difficult time. Name 4 people who have taught you something worthwhile. Name the 5 people you enjoy spending time with. Wasn't that easier? The lesson from Charles Schulz is that the people who make a difference in your lives are not the ones with the most credentials, the most money, or the most awards. They are the ones who care. I hope that all of us in the Monroe schools have demonstrated that we care. I've worked in this district for the last 35 years, and I've seen many people come and go, but I observed teachers, guidance counselors, paraeducators, coaches, administrators, and all staff members go above and beyond to demonstrate that they care, because that is what you will remember. The teacher who spent time listening to you when you had a concern, the counselor who helped you with a tough decision, or the coach who pushed you to be the best. So I want all of you, members of the class of 2019, to strive for those accolades, those awards, to get the highest credentials you can, to achieve great things, but always remember that those things are not as essential as being an important part of someone's life. You will do great things and be great people. I know it. Tonight I retire from the Monroe Public Schools. A lot has changed. But one constant over the years has been the outstanding, caring educators, the supportive, involved parents, and the most talented students in the state. I want to thank my colleagues, the Board of Education member, the parents, the town officials, and the students over the years for the opportunity to live my professional life here in Monroe. I can't think of a better place for me to have grown. Mrs. Lane, I attest that these members of the class of 2018 receiving diplomas tonight have met or exceeded the graduation requirements established by the state of Connecticut and the Monroe Board of Education. Congratulations and thank you.
Nisha Hanaya. Catherine Hannah Lee. Wen J. Lim. Brianna Nicole Malloy. Gabriel Francisco Rodriguez. William Jennings Santee. Chloe Ann Shawa. Aman Ashab. Mackenzie Lee Pontonio. Gabrielle Sarah Hirsch. Catherine Marie DeGeorge. Ethan Bassett. Anika Shubalakshmi Viraraghav. Ember Lumare Strickland. David John Allen. John Bernhard Anderson III. Louis Richard Anthony. Johnny Antonio Arroyo. Brendan Atta Edgyman. Riley Bouchard. Andre Badalato. McCulloch Roger Ness Bailey. Jack Robert Baranello. Joseph James Bartlett. William Andrew Bellotti. Justin Lewis Bigelow. Nathaniel Bond. Casey William Bowler. Zachary Edward Boyle. Owen Patrick Braddock. Kevin Thomas Brown. Sloan Burling. Brock Matthew Bukowski. Ashley Acerbo. Aaliyah Marie Aguilar. Vida Sky Arroyo. Tatiana Artinian. Alexa Marie Bakulis. Juliana Bella Barker. Jamie Lynn Barnett. Sufeda Basuljevic. Gabriella Batsu. Gabrielle Siobhan Beckett. Jacqueline Joy Bennett. Jessica Berry. Leah Taylor Brantley. Sabrina Aruju Campos. Emma Olivia Capella Campos. Meg Ann Cardy. Victoria Ashley Karuba. Victoria Lillian Casertano. Nicholas Reed Celentano. Soria Chenthal Nathan. Tyler Ralph Chopsky. Kevin Cirillo. Thomas Blake Cleland. Richard Taylor Condon. Anthony Carl Conti. Ryan Michael Conti. Peter Blair Cosmetti. Colin James Davis. James Borges DePreta. Michael Christopher DiCarlo. John James DiTaranto. James McGregor Donnelly. Cole William Dowling. Mason John Duckworth. Jack William Dignan. Manny Esmeraldo. Daniel Edward Fagan. Cameron Alexander Falcone. Sophie Claire Chung. Jessica Ann Cohen. Olivia Collins. Haley Lorraine Kasha. Kelsey June Colville. Caitlin Elizabeth Craig. Juliana Marie Dioria. Abigail Dorothy Duramo. Alexa Diarra. Stephanie Caroline De Silva. Rachel Elizabeth DeMeo. Heidi Diaz. Alyssa Anna DeCurzio. Tiffany Natalie Di Palermo. Rosie Di Taranto. Gina Maria Dragonette. Haley Rose Duche. Julianne Teresa Farnham. Adiana Elena Fernandez. Samuel Forsyth. Owen Fox. Anthony Joseph Franco. Salvatore Gambino. Braden Samuel Gentry. Zachary Michael Gingras. Andrew Joseph Gorman. Kevin Wilson Harper. Michael Hayes. Brian M. Herlihy. Matthew Jack Hirsch. Ryan John Hodska. Tyler Hoffman. Thomas Britton Hooker. Mitchell Robert Hornack. Matthew Mark Hughes. Kyle Ashton Immel. Alex Tyler Iovino. Nicholas Anthony Isabella. John Matthew Jennings. Kira Lee Fitch. Cassandra Jane Gerace. Alexa Marie Getner. Skylar Rose Giovanoli. Alexandra Elise Gomez. Riley Gorman. Sydney Guerrera. Ellie Lee Hayden. Emily A. Heller. Catherine Hickey. Caroline Kristen Hoy. Danielle Julia Hoyt. Mashal Sod Ibrahim. Caitlin Infante. Vanessa Lee Infante. Jennifer Ann Giacovino. Catherine Ann Jelliff. Caitlin Rain Kerr. Kelsey Rose Killian. Benjamin Conrad Keeley. Tian Ethan Kimmett. Benjamin Klitnick. Maximilian Alexander Clutch. Kyle Joseph Conkle. Michael Kaufman. Jonathan LaRosa. Ian Joseph Lasky. Nicholas James Lubinsky. Alexander Lee. Zachary Curtis Lee. Justin Michael Lemoyne. Elias Dylan Levy. Xavier Lewis. Harrison Anthony Loescher. Nicholas LaRusso. Jake M. McFadden. Joshua Robert Machin. Mitchell Manjos. Drake Marchese. Alexia Anna Kochis. Alyssa Lynn Kostenko. Emily Bridget Lane. Haley Francis Larson. Danielle Lazaro. Sabrina Nicole Lem. Madeline Julia Lesko. Brooke Elizabeth Levinson. Alexandra Paige Lickbar. Caitlin Lorenz Logan. Sophia Antoinette Leonardo. Alyssa Joya Louise. Erin Therese McFarlane. Madeline Louisa Mandeville. Ashley Marcinick. Veronica Elizabeth Morrow. Courtney Megan McCoy. Emily Catherine McMahon. Pasquale Martino. Robert Joseph Martinsky. Andrew Maslar. Alexander M. Massaro. Maxwell Ross Mastroraco. Rodolfo Ernesto Matthews III. Liam McCarthy. Ian McCluskey. Zachary Ricky McCullum. Mark Douglas McDonough. Shane McPadden. Enzo Merlongi. Tyler Joseph Mahalka. John Migliazza. Gregory Michael Miller. Max Jacob Marizio. Brendan Moretti.
Check out the crowd. Check out the crowd.
Zad Mumtaz.
Check out the crowd right here.
Stephen James Murphy.
Wow, didn't really get that one.
Samuel Bernard Nalaboff. Ashley Kira Mafka. Annabella Marie Nicefaro. Neve Claire O'Neill. Sarah Gloria O'Rourke. April Marie Ostrowski. Lily Grace Palumba. Hannah Gabriella Parham.
Oops, sorry, thank you.
Augusta Johnson Parcell. Emily Palella. Jacqueline Page Plevnicki. Melinda Karen Primorak. Ava Rafaela Proshino. Erica May Pullen. Haley Jason Purcell. Janine Ramondi. Secret Chanel Rainey. Rebecca Irene Rancourt. Kaylee Lorenz Raymond. Grace Richards Hannigan. Joseph Neal. Ryan Alexander Nicholas. Christopher Thomas Nicolia. Kevin Richard O'Connor. Kevin Papsco. Matthew Bryce Pearson. Roberto Emilio Perez Jr. Jeffrey Theodore Pickup. Joseph Pinciero. Nicholas Paisan. Justin Petrak. Daniel Petrak. Christian Ivan Podpalucha. Alex S. Pontillo. Jake Dara Poole. Ryan Ramos. Colin Peyton Raymond. Sean Reno. James Patrick Redmond. Jamie Alexandre Reynoso. Brittany Stephanie Romero. Valentina Rappi. Tara Jean Rusco. Sahar Sajad, Kelly Scott, Samantha Rose Sebin, Julia Sheehan, Ellen Stansfield, Chantel Pauline Stewart, Cassidy Marie Swanson, Amy Elizabeth Texera, Michaela Serena Texera, Kobe Finnet Tear, Sarah Tobin, Abigail Grace Tohill, Kayla Nicole Traganese, Eliana Luisa Trevino, Julia Susan Vincent, Macklin Ruley, Vincent Philip Sampari, Jonah Benjamin Santiana, Thomas Joshua Scalia, Matthew Louis Scanzillo, Nicholas Kevin Schutte, Mohammed Saif, Nicholas Luca Cementilli, Joseph M. Sergi, Ryan William Silver, Jeffrey Stofko, Thomas John Sedora, Curtis Gregory Swain, Maxwell Keeler Zabo, Zach Thompson, Jacob Andrew Thornley, Nolan Eugene Tournay, Jordan Alexander Vaglavello, Gina Volturno, Paige Elizabeth Wagner, Diana Gabrielle Wallet, Karina Lee Waring, Leighton Isabella Webb, Lauren Francis Welch, Ava Weiser, Alexis Lee Wojtowicz, Lauren May Young, Kaylee Danielle Youngcourt, Nicole Elizabeth Zallinger, Jennifer Celeste Zuka, Ryan Shaw, Patrick Rodriguez Silva, Alexander Venetti Vasilakis, Benjamin David Vikowski, Christian Joseph Vikowski, Andrew Bradley Vincent, David Christopher Volturno, Michael Anthony Volturno, Donald Coughlin Wheeler, Aaron E. Wixon, Adam Jesse Wilk, Tyler Michael Zelensky, Michael John Zook, George Zawali.
Nicely done again. Excellent. Those are most faculty kids up to 7.
Class of 2018, best of luck with all your future endeavors. You may now move your tassel from the left to the right. Congratulations and have a good night.
Good job, John. Good job.
1, 2, ready, 1.